new marketing director puts pressure on Mike and Kate.
Right, okay, that about wraps it up. Any other issues?
What about the new marketing director?
Harry Howell.
He starts today, doesn't he? Presume he's going to need sorting out.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. Jackie, can you check with accounts that they're up to speed with putting him on the payroll?
Okay, I'll fit it in with the rest of this lot.
Thanks, Jackie.
What's he like?
Oh, he's quite dishy. Like a young Mike, but with added charm.
I thought you didn't want him for the job.
Pure gossip.
Oh, yes.
I happen to prefer another candidate, but he withdrew at the last minute.
Obviously had some taste.
Now, I don't want it getting out that I didn't want Harry to get the job.
Oh, yes. We don't want to sap his confidence before he's even started. Poor flower.
So, I'm down to 2,000 feet and the chute still won't open. And things are getting pretty serious. Finally, I managed to cut it loose and pull the reserve chute. Whoosh, away she goes at just under 1,000 feet. Another 3 seconds and I'd have been history.
Incredible.
You could say that. Do you skydive, Mike?
Not as yet, no.
You should try it. It gives one hell of an adrenaline rush. Better than sex. Well, most people's sex anyway.
Right.
What sports do you do, Mike?
I play squash.
Chasing a little ball around a box. Where's the danger in that?
Indeed.
Right, enough of this small talk. Let's get started.
Your office is in there. I'll let you carry on settling in.
Oh, forget that. I'll get one of the secretaries to unpack my stuff. No, I meant let's get started on this launch.
Oh, the launch. Well, I've got the agency, Waterston, Simpson and Bradcock, coming round early next week to discuss the brief.
Waterstone and who? Never heard of them.
Actually, they're a local firm.
Figures. No, Mike, I think we should get some of the top league players in for this one.
But the fees will be astronomical.
Mike, you make it sound like it's your money. Softex are footing the bill. They can afford a proper agency. Unless, of course, you have a special relationship with this local bunch?
No, of course not.
Then why are you bothering with them? No, Mike, it's time Redware went up market.
Well, I suppose we could give someone else the opportunity to tender.
Who shall we get in? I know. Brad's outfit. They took me motor racing last summer.
Formula One?
Not the kind where you watch. Actual motor racing on the track. You must have done it.
Not recently, no.
Mike, you really need to start living a little.
And the other one says, yes, I know, dear, but so cold.
Well, I can't stay here gossiping all day. Have to attack my in tray before it hits the ceiling.
Oh, Jackie, could you just pop over to Harry's office and see if there's anything he needs?
Sure. Got nothing better to do with my time than nursemaid new members of staff.
Okay. I wonder what's got into her. She's not her usual cheery self.
Beats me.
I better keep an eye on Jackie. We don't want her going under. She's the only one around here who knows how this place works.
So, what's John Wood like to work for?
John's a bit of a strange guy. Not like your normal MD.
How do you mean?
Refuses to have a secretary. Not even a fixed office.
A hot desk array.
He's made a lot of changes in the 3 months since FE left.
Who's FE?
The old MD. Built the business up from scratch.
Where is he now?
Bahamas. He got over 2 million for his shares, depending on his earnout.
Earnout?
The more profitable the company is this year, the more he gets.
Lucky old FE. That's where I want to be, rich and retired before I'm 40.
I'll settle for being MD.
So what's the competition for numero uno?
It's a bit of a joke. I thought that the production director, Charles Ainsworth, was in line, but John fired him. That only leaves Lee, who's a complete propeller head, and Jenny, the general manager.
I remember her, the uptight one at the interview. Is she a serious contender?
You wouldn't think so, would you? But John's a tricky operator. I get the feeling that he's grooming her for the role. She takes this course we're doing very seriously.
Are they an item?
Who knows? There's certainly something going on between them.
So, what exactly is this course? I don't have to go on it, do I?
20 steps to better management, and no one escapes. Each week you watch a case study on video. It's all to do with people management. This week it's about stress.
Stress? Mike, the day I need to find out how to handle stress is the day they wheel me to the old folks' home. I thrive on pressure.
Mike Fox. Oh, hello. When?
Mr. Hull?
Yep.
I'm Jackie Kavanagh. I've
Straight
come to
away.
see if there's anything you
Oh, well, it
need.
must be important. Yes, right. I'll be right round.
Something cropped up?
Matt Davis wants to see me urgently.
Matt Davis.
Chief executive of Softex. The big boss. Oh, well, I'll see you later.
Good luck. Well, come on then. I don't have all day. Look at the state of this place. Can you believe it? There's going to have to be some changes around here. What's your name?
Jackie.
Okay, Jackie. I want an internet terminal here. Give me a phone with hands-free and all the extras. While you're at it, sort me out somewhere to park my car.
Well, there might be a problem there. You see, we've run out of space.
Just sorted, okay? Oh, and I need a mobile phone, digital. I'm also going to need a television and VCR.
Anything else?
That'll do for now. Oh, yeah. Every Wednesday, remind me to bring in my dry cleaning. I want it done and back by Friday. No creases, okay?
Dry cleaning.
I won't have time to go out for lunch today. Can you send out for smoked salmon in a bagel and pastrami on rye? You'd better get me a fridge in here as well. I tend to drink imported beer, but fill it with wine and spirits. You know the kind of thing. That's probably it for now.
Right.
Oh, and Jackie,
What, Harry?
lighten up.
Mike, I'm glad you could come at such short notice.
No problem. How can I help?
As you know, John closed down the accounting function at Redware, and now all finance is administered centrally here.
I thought the new system was running smoothly.
It is. It's just that it means that all personal expenses are now cleared by our finance director.
Personal expenses?
Well, not all of them. Only those up to a certain limit. Anything over the normal ends up on my desk for approval. And this month, the only expenses over the normal are yours.
I don't understand. It's never been a problem in the past. FE always signed them off.
Well, we could send them to him in the Bahamas, but I don't think that would be a practical solution. Do you?
Look, I know last month's expenses were a bit over the top, but there was the exhibition at Geneva. Now, there is one very expensive city.
It's not Geneva that concerns me, apart from those minibar bills which seem rather excessive. No, it's the fact that you submitted 2 petrol receipts and a restaurant bill dated the week when you were abroad. Yet, these bills are from this country.
I can explain that.
You also seem to have 2 company cars. One's in the car park, the other no one has seen for the past 12 months. We only know it exists because you keep putting the servicing bills through.
I can explain that as well. You see...
And then there's the gardener's bills and a charge for cleaning your house every week.
It's not my house.
I'm sorry?
It's my wife's. Well, my ex-wife's. I'm recently divorced. You see, these expenses that you mention are run up on her copy of my business charge card. It's a perk. It's always been paid in the past.
Mike, you can hardly expect the company to pick up your ex-wife's costs.
No, of course not. She should have returned the card. But, and the car. It's an oversight. I'll get it sorted.
When did she cease being your wife?
Only 2-3 months ago.
Yet you were still submitting charges on her behalf during that time.
I'm not sure.
Your signature is on the expense claims, Mike.
I'm really very busy. I get my secretary to fill in the forms, then I just sign them.
And you bank the checks.
Yes.
The point is, Mike, Softex is not a bottomless pit. Expenses are to pay for legitimate business outgoings, not to subsidize your divorce settlement.
Of course, I understand that.
Then you'll understand when accounts ask you to pay back these irregular claims, to correct any oversights that may have happened.
That's really going to add up.
You see, I'd hate for this to end up on your file as some kind of disciplinary matter. It could blight your prospects in the group.
Absolutely. You just let me know how much is involved.
And you return your ex-wife's car at the end of the week?
Oh, right, yeah.
Good. I'm glad we've been able to settle this sensibly.
Jenny.
Oh, hi, Jackie.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to take the rest of the day off. Something's come up on the personal front. I might be able to get back at the end of the day.
Well, we are rather short-staffed. But if you must go, you must go.
Thanks. It's nice to know there's still some human beings left in this place.
I wonder what the problem is.
I don't know. She always seems so calm.
The International Festival of Fine Wine and Food at Olympia has nearly 200 exhibitors and boasts more than 27,000 visitors over 4 days. There are fine foods from around the world to tempt you and over 10,000 wines and spirits to sample. More than 25,000 glasses will be poured. One woman pulls it all together. Sarah Gladstone works for National Events, who organise this exhibition. She loves to work under pressure.
I need to work under pressure to bring the best out of myself. I do get bored if I've got nothing to do. Are you all right?
She has 2 days on site to set up the show with her team, but the final hours just before the doors open are the most stressful.
I'm responsible for dealing with all the contractors, the venue, the exhibitors once they've bought their stands, and basically getting the show ready, built up and running for the opening time on the opening day.
Well, we were told to take a pallet up there.
Yeah, but where they've been delivered, sitting in the middle of the emergency exit.
What do you want done with them?
Just moving.
To where?
Into the little store that's sitting. I think the most stressful aspect of it is when the exhibitors are all coming in. Things that they've booked haven't arrived, or they've forgotten to book something, or their spotlight isn't quite where they want it, or their delivery is late, or their stand isn't what they thought it was going to be, or there are lots of different things that people can forget or can go wrong. There is an element of it that's routine, but when you're actually at a show, you don't know what's going to happen, and that's quite entertaining. It's quite good fun, really. Except for when things go very wrong, then it's not good fun at all. Oh, God.
Sarah's had an urgent message about a problem on the second floor.
Yeah,
Sarah, I think they're on about 8 different stands.
what's happened?
The main goods lift has been damaged.
We don't know. We got this call. Well, no, put it this way, no one's going to know. So it's taking some force.
Now Sarah has to find other ways of getting the exhibitors' goods up from the basement store.
What's happening is we can only use little trolleys and
We've got all the glasses that are going up and down.
Oh, you've got 16, haven't you?
Yeah, I know,
but we can't get a big barrel.
there's a lot that goes up and down all day in here.
This lift is going to be out of action for the rest of the show.
At times it gets too much. When on site you can work some very long hours, and you can get to the point where you've had no sleep and you've got 50 people who want to talk to you, and you know you've got to deal with it. How I cope with it is I have a good social life. Jack, you're going to do your 10-minute warning. And there's still all sorts of stuff in the aisles. This man needs a sign maker. Hello? Is level 3 all sorted now? Climbing on the wall. Can you speak to Melville?
With minutes to go, the fire officer is refusing to let Sarah open the show until the loading bay, the main fire exit, is free of vehicles. Sarah checks the vans and finds out on the radio that the last driver is on his way.
Right, as long as you keep chasing.
Yeah, we will. They've gone to get them off the stands. I wouldn't fit in a 9-to-5 office where you're sitting and you go home at 5 o'clock on the dot. Are you all ready? And this is where the fun begins. They all start, oh look, we can't open the door, that's great. Great start. Stress within reason, I think, is a good way of putting it. It's not a negative thing. If I didn't enjoy the job I do, I wouldn't do it. It's really good.
Right down, please, ticket holders.
This is the best bit, seeing them all coming in now, with it all ready, having run around like a blue-ass fly all morning. It's good. They'll start complaining soon.
Interesting, isn't it? So, how do you cope with stress?
At home, I'm a disaster, but at work, I can keep things under control.
Well, how do you manage here?
Lawyers' priorities. There isn't the time to do absolutely everything. So I focus on the essentials, the things that only I can do. The rest I delegate. And I force myself not to worry about the things that are not going to get done.
You know, I always saw you as a perfectionist.
Never expect perfection, either from yourself or others. It just leads to frustration and resentment. If you are going to give 110% to something, reserve it for those jobs where it pays back.
Yeah, I suppose so. See, my problem is deadlines. I just keep putting things off. And what was a simple task becomes a major panic.
Worst first.
Pardon?
Do the worst things first. You feel so much better afterwards.
Worst first? Oh, well, I know what the worst thing in my in-tray is. Yeah, the allocation of car parking spaces. Well, I can't invent spaces that don't exist. Maybe I should order a green policy and make everyone come to work on push bikes.
Oh, and another tip. I always add 20% to any time estimate. If something slips, then you don't have to work all night. Oh, and learn to say no.
Ah, now, that's something I'm getting better at. Do you know, people used to queue up expecting me to sort out all the little details of their lives. Well, since I started saying no, it's fabulous. Now they just bother me with the big things.
The trouble is, they just take their hassles somewhere else.
Well, it's fine by me, as long as they don't end up in my in-tray.
Oh, and another thing you could do is take up yoga.
What?
I put aside 10 minutes of each day for thinking time, just yourself, no interruptions. Ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing and get rid of the bits that are not productive.
You make it all sound so simple.
Ah, this is work. You should see my home life. Wow, what a mess.
Well, let's take a look at this. Now, this is about a career woman who managed to reduce her stress levels.
I'm used to working in challenging environments. I worked at the Stock Exchange for 10 years through all the changes in the city. And when I joined this organisation, I realised that it was going to be a tough job to do. And I was working 15-hour days for 2.5 years. I had a medical, sort of normal company medical thing after my first year or so. And the doctor who saw me just ran through the normal things. And then she said, "I think you're in trouble. What are you going to do about it?" And I sort of thought, what, me in trouble? And she was right, of course. I was stressed out of my mind. I was so obsessed with trying to get the job done that when the doctor started asking me questions about me, I got very emotional. I wasn't thinking about me, and I wasn't expecting anybody else to be thinking about me either. It was quite a shock. So I was in trouble. She was quite right. And I realised she was going to get very tough with me if I didn't do something about it myself. So I went straight out of the surgery, across the road, into the health club, which was just nearby, and signed on.
Exercise was one way of dealing with the stress.
The real issue when you're under stress is what your body does to cope with that. We're animals, of course, we tend to forget. And animals have a natural body reaction to stress, which is that you fight or you run away. So the best thing you can possibly do when you're under a lot of stress is take more exercise. So as well as joining the gym, I looked at other ways I could manage my time better. I built in to my diary time for myself, time to do the administration, for example. When I looked at my diary, I could also see that I was doing a lot of things I really didn't need to do. They could either be done by somebody else, or they didn't really need to be done at all. So I got a lot tougher about saying no. I recognise this is a hard gospel for people who feel that their jobs would be on the line. They don't have particularly sensitive bosses who don't really listen when you try and say, you really can't manage this. Each of us has to come to our own decision about what amount of stress we are capable of handling. And if it really isn't working for us and we are making ourselves ill, it isn't worth having that job. Sooner or later, something will crack. And it's much better to take it under your own control and manage it in your own way than to have the day come when you are no longer coping and everything's fallen about your ears, because sooner or later that will probably happen.
Look, you can't do this to me. No, I do not want my solicitor to talk to your solicitor. They've been doing that for the last 2 months, and look where it's got us. Yeah, and I want the car back. Oh, look, give me a break, Deborah. I'm under a lot of pressure here. What? What? No, we've discussed this. Yeah, Deborah, I'm insisting on that fortnightly access. No, you are not going to stop me seeing my dogs.
Mike.
Harry.
What did the big chief want?
Oh, just to talk about finances, cash flow, that sort of thing.
You obviously have his ear.
We spoke for some time.
Meanwhile, that agency of yours phoned, watery, wimpish, and bad breath?
Oh, yes.
I told them we were going to put the launch out to tender. They didn't sound too happy. Apparently, they thought they already had the job. Anyhow, they're going to call you about it.
Yeah, I bet they will.
Meanwhile, I haven't seen much action on the food front. That woman said she was going to get me some lunch in.
Jackie?
Whoever.
She's usually very efficient.
All I wanted was a little sandwich.
It's typical of this place. It's just one screw-up after another. You know, I'm sick to death of the lack of support round here.
I'll go and kick some ass.
No, you won't, Harry. I'll do it. It's just one thing after another. Would somebody please mind telling me where the hell Jackie is?
Wait a minute, Mike. She's taken the rest of the day off.
Taken the day off? Well, that is absolutely typical of this place, and typical of the way you run your staff.
Cool it, Mike. You'll give yourself a hernia.
What kind of impression do you think this gives to the new marketing director? All the guy wants is a sandwich, for God's sake, and we can't even deliver that. I mean, what the hell is going on round here?
Mike, will you just calm down a minute? Jackie has got a domestic crisis on, and so I gave her the rest of the afternoon off. Okay?
Domestic crisis? You wouldn't know the meaning of the word. You haven't got a clue, have you? Any of you?
Jackie, I thought you... It's all right. The crisis is over for now.
What's happened?
Nothing today, thank heavens, but it will. It's been going on for the past couple of months. It's my mother. You see, the nursing home phoned this morning to say she hadn't woken up. It was a sort of coma. They thought that this was it. Well, they were wrong. Mike, I'm sorry Harry's been inconvenienced. I've brought his sandwiches.
I'm sorry, Jackie. I didn't realise.
Nor did I. I should have asked you what was wrong.
Why should you? Everyone brings their problems to me. Nobody thinks I might have any of my own. Well, good old dependable Jackie does have her own problems at the moment.
Hey, look, I'm sorry I stressed you out. I'm the new guy around here. But perhaps I can help. Why don't you come with me to my office and we can talk about things? Come on. You see, I lost my mother last year. I had this therapy.
Nice one, Mike.